A black Mercedes pulls up outside a rundown apartment in South Chicago. A man in a $1,000 suit steps out, carrying a briefcase. He's looking for someone, a 17-year-old boy named Marcus Thompson. And what's inside that briefcase? It's about to change everything. But before we get there, let me tell you what Marcus did just 24 hours ago that brought this millionaire to his doorstep. If you're watching this, drop a comment and tell us where you're from. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories. Marcus Thompson had exactly $20 to his name. Not $20 in his wallet, $20, period. That was it. That was everything standing between him and complete emptiness. He'd been saving it for 3 weeks, skipping lunch at school, walking 5 miles instead of taking the bus, collecting cans after his shift at the car wash. 3 weeks of sacrifice for $20 because tomorrow was his mother's birthday and he'd promised her he'd buy the diabetes medication she'd been rationing for the past month. $20. It wasn't enough for the full prescription, but it was something. It was hope. It was all he had. Marcus stood at the bus stop on 47th Street that cold October evening, clutching that $20 bill in his pocket like it was made of gold, because to him, it was gold. The number 55 bus was late. Again, Marcus checked his phone, 6:47 p.m. His shift at the car wash had run long, and he was exhausted. His hands were raw, his back ached, but he couldn't stop thinking about his mother's face when he'd hand her that medication tomorrow morning. That smile, that would make everything worth it. That's when he heard it, crying. Not just crying, sobbing, desperate, frightened sobbing. Marcus turned and saw them, an elderly couple, maybe in their 70s, sitting on the bench. The woman was clutching her husband's arm, tears streaming down her face. The man looked pale, shaken, defeated. "Ma'am," Marcus approached slowly. "Sir, are you okay?" The elderly woman looked up at him with red, swollen eyes. We were robbed," she whispered, her voice trembling. "2 men. They took everything, my purse, his wallet, everything." The husband spoke next, his voice hoarse. "We just came from the hospital. My wife, she had a procedure done. We need to get home to Naperville, but we don't have a single dollar for the bus fare." Marcus felt his stomach drop. Naperville. That was 45 minutes away. The fare alone would be at least $15, maybe $20. "Did you call the police?" Marcus asked. "We did," the old man said, shaking his head. "They took a report, but what can they do? Those boys are long gone, and we need to get home. I need to get my wife home. She needs to rest. She needs her medication." That word, medication. Marcus's hand tightened around the $20 bill in his pocket. Number. No. This wasn't fair. He'd worked so hard for this. His mother was waiting for him. She needed this. She needed him. But as Marcus looked at this elderly woman, shaking, crying, clearly in pain after a medical procedure, and her husband, desperate and helpless, something inside him broke. What would his mother do? He already knew the answer. Marcus pulled out the $20 bill. His hand was shaking. "Here," he said softly, holding it out to them. "Take this." The elderly couple stared at the money like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. "Son, no," the old man said, his voice cracking. "No, we can't take your money. You look like you need it more than we do." "Please," Marcus insisted, pressing the bill into the man's hand. "Please just take it. Get home safely. Make sure your wife gets her rest." The elderly woman grabbed Marcus's hand with both of hers. "What's your name, young man?" "Marcus Thompson." "Marcus," she repeated, tears flowing freely now. "Marcus, I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me," Marcus said quietly. "Just get home safe. That's enough. If you believe it's good to be kind to others, comment kindness right now. Smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. Let's continue." The old man stood up, helping his wife to her feet. He looked Marcus directly in the eyes. "What you did today, most people wouldn't have done that. Most people would have walked right past us. But you stopped. You helped. You gave us everything you had." Marcus tried to smile, but his throat was too tight. "It's okay, really." "No, son," the old man said firmly. "It's not okay. It's extraordinary. And I promise you, this kindness will come back to you." The bus arrived. Marcus helped the couple board, and he watched through the window as they found their seats. The elderly woman pressed her hand against the glass, mouthing, "Thank you," one more time before the bus pulled away. And then Marcus was alone, standing at that bus stop with empty pockets and a heavy heart. He started the 5-mile walk home, tears burning in his eyes. What had he done? How was he going to face his mother tomorrow? How was he going to tell her that he'd given away her medication money? But something the old man said kept echoing in his mind. This kindness will come back to you. Marcus wanted to believe that. He desperately wanted to believe that. But as he walked through the dark streets of South Chicago, he felt like the biggest fool in the world. Marcus barely slept that night. When morning came, he couldn't bring himself to tell his mother what happened. He mumbled something about the pharmacy being out of stock, promised he'd get the medication next week, and left for school before she could ask questions. He felt like a liar. He felt like a failure. School was a blur. Marcus couldn't focus, couldn't think. All he could see was his mother's face when she tried to smile and say, "It's okay, baby. We'll figure it out." It wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. At 3:30 p.m., Marcus was walking home from school when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Hello? Is this Marcus Thompson?" A man's voice, unfamiliar, professional. "Yeah, who's this?" "Marcus. My name is James Hartwell. I believe you helped my parents yesterday evening at a bus stop on 47th Street. Marcus froze in the middle of the sidewalk. Your parents?" "Yes, Robert and Eleanor Hartwell. You gave them money for bus fare after they were robbed." "Oh," Marcus breathed. Yeah, I did. Are they okay? Is your mom okay?" "They're fine, thanks to you," James said, and Marcus could hear the emotion in his voice. "Marcus, what you did, I can't even begin to express what that means to my family. When my parents told me what happened, I knew I had to find you." "You really didn't have to," Marcus said quickly. "I'm just glad they got home safely." "Marcus, where do you live? I'd like to come thank you in person, if that's all right." Marcus hesitated. He was embarrassed. His apartment building was falling apart. His neighborhood wasn't exactly welcoming, but something in James Hartwell's voice made him trust this man. He gave him the address. "I'll be there in 30 minutes, James said. Marcus was sitting on the front steps of his apartment building when the black Mercedes pulled up. A man stepped out wearing a tailored navy suit that probably cost more than Marcus's entire wardrobe. He was tall, maybe 40 years old, with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Marcus," the man called out. Marcus stood up, suddenly self-conscious of his worn sneakers and faded jeans. "Mr. Hartwell, please, call me James." He extended his hand, and Marcus shook it. "Thank you for meeting with me." "Of course." James looked at Marcus for a long moment, and his expression softened. "My parents told me what you did. They told me you gave them your last $20. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. They needed it more than I did." "Marcus," James said gently, "my mother told me you were shaking when you handed them that money. She said you looked like it hurt you to let it go. So I'm going to ask you directly, was that money important to you?" Marcus felt his eyes burning. He looked down at his shoes. It was for my mom, her medication. She has diabetes, and I'd been saving for 3 weeks to help her pay for it." James's jaw tightened. When Marcus looked up, he saw tears in the man's eyes. "You gave up your mother's medication," James said quietly, "to help 2 strangers get home." "I couldn't just leave them there," Marcus whispered. "No," James agreed. "You couldn't, because that's not who you are." James reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. "Marcus, I'm the CEO of a medical supply company. We work with hospitals and pharmacies across the country. And what you did yesterday, it reminded me why I got into this business in the first place, to help people, to make sure no one has to choose between basic necessities and survival." He held out the envelope. "This is for you." Marcus took it with trembling hands. He opened it slowly, and his breath caught in his throat. Inside was a check made out to Marcus Thompson for $50,000. "What?" Marcus's voice broke. "What is this?" "That," James said, "is me making sure you never have to sacrifice your last $20 again. That's for your mother's medication, for the rest of her life if necessary. That's for your education. That's for your future." Marcus couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what was happening. I can't accept this." "Yes, you can," James said firmly. "And you will. Because you earned it, Marcus. Not with your hands, not with your strength, but with your heart. And that's worth more than any amount of money." Tears were streaming down Marcus's face now. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," James replied. Just promise me something. Anything. Promise me you'll stay exactly who you are. Promise me you'll keep that heart of yours, no matter what life throws at you. And when you're in a position to help someone else someday, and you will be, promise me you'll do it. Marcus nodded, unable to speak. James pulled him into a tight hug. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for restoring my faith in humanity. Thank you for showing my parents that there's still good in this world. That evening, Marcus bought his mother a full year's supply of her diabetes medication. When he told her what happened, she held him and cried. I raised you right, she whispered. I raised you to be good. And look what goodness brought back to you. Marcus started college the following year, fully paid for by a scholarship James helped him secure. He's studying business now, with plans to open a nonprofit that helps low-income families access medical care. And every single day, Marcus carries a $20 bill in his wallet. Not to spend, but to remember. To remember that the smallest act of kindness can change everything. If you believe it's good to be kind to others, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. Drop a comment below and tell us about a time someone's kindness changed your life. We read every single comment,